Hey, what's up you guys? This is Eric with OzoneTCG. Today we're taking a look at some Dragon Link top lists, both from Oceana and from UK Nationals. Before we get into the video, of course, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Use our TCG Player affiliate link if you guys want to purchase any of these cards from TCG Player. It really helps out the channel. Let's get on into it. So first we have the Punk Dragon Link Adventure deck from Oceana. So this was a New Zealand top deck list. Basically, the idea is that the Punk stuff just adds the ability to summon Chaos Ruler or Borreload Savage. More often than not, it's going to be Chaos Ruler. So they're playing the typical Dragon Link package, typical Adventure package, and typical hand traps specifically for Dragon Link, which is Nibiru, Valor, Cyframe Gear Gamma, and Ash Blossom. And your light hand traps can be searched off of Chaos Ruler. At worst, you just mill them, or you can almost summon a tuner like Ash Blossom or Valor. Really, there's nothing too different in the main deck besides the Punk cards and Destrudo. Destrudo can summon itself from the hand or graveyard, of course, to become basically a level 3 or level 4 dragon monster, depending on which monster you target. The idea, again, with the Punk cards is to summon your level 8 to kickstart all your plays. So on screen, you guys will see that. I really like the main deck. I like how it is 50 cards because I wouldn't really want to go to 60. But again, really the only thing that's different is Destrudo and Punk stuff, and then you have the E-Tele in case you have both Adventure and Punk. Basically, if you get, Aquaman or Water Enchantress and E-Tele, you are probably winning the game more often than not. And then Extra Deck, it's pretty standard Dragon Link as well. The only difference is that he's playing Dark the Dark Charmer, and that's it really. The only card that I think that a lot of people haven't necessarily seen with Dragon Link before is Borrowland. The card came out in Ghost from the Past, the second Haunting. The card is absolutely insane for Dragon Link. It really pushes the deck back into a playable status, even with Alba Lenatus being in the format currently. Not a lot of people are actually playing that in most branded Despia decks. But Dark really just for, funny enough, branded Despia, and if you happen stumble across the mirror, it's for that. Then the side deck, kind of different ways to build a side deck. Basically, you want to have Droll for combo mirrors and some kind of back row removal. People are opting to play Cosmic Cyclone, Twin Twister, Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, Red Reboot. Of course, here you can see you have the Cosmic Cyclone, Harpy's Feather Duster, Red Reboot, and of course the Droll. And then really the other hand traps, besides maybe one Token Collector, since the deck does play Shooting Riser as part of a combo piece. It depends on your tournament. So here, this player was playing the 2 Ghost Ogre, I assume for Adventure, and maybe some niche rogue decks. And then the DD Crow, which I assume is going to be for Branded Despia, and again, some niche rogue decks. And then Quackimir Draco, neither player can special summon light or dark monsters. You summon that off seals. The interesting thing with Dragon Link right now is that you actually don't really end on seals at all. The idea generally is to end on Boral End plus Borreload Savage Dragon plus Baron Floor plus Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. That's really hard to beat for most decks, especially if you've searched like Nibiru or Valor. There aren't a whole lot of decks that can actually play through that. That's some kind of like blowout card like Dark Ruler No More, or Droplet Chain Lightning Storm Chain Droplet, something like that. Or just Forbidden Droplet, discard your whole hand, no other plays. It's really hard to do that, but seals is if you get hand trapped and you just need some kind of interruption and you don't have any other interruption other than, maybe snow for the opponent's turn. That's the whole idea of this list. I do like the way this is built specifically. Personally, I actually don't play the Punk cards in this version, though I may try it out. If you guys want to see that, let me know, of course. But I do like that the consistency is increased in the Punk cards getting into Chaos Ruler and being able to potentially mill your Destrudo and Absol not having to go to the Ravine route. Romulus, previously, at least in the last year and a half or so, since its release in Rising Rampage, has been a huge combo piece for the deck. You really need to summon Romulus every single game in order to kickstart your combos. Now, it's not really the case. Borland honestly solved a lot of those issues, same with the Rose Dragon package. Going your Adventure token into Shooting Riser with Red Rose, So you get Red Rose effect to summon Rox Rose. Rox Rose gets another copy of itself or Red Rose from the graveyard, and Shooting Riser can mill Snow, and if it does, it becomes level 3, and that's huge because Shooting Riser is a dragon, which should be obvious for anyone who's played the card, but it's because it can summon Pisty, so it can be used as Pisty material, so it's like a free material in this deck specifically, on top of having Bury the Floor. And honestly, you have enough material, generally speaking, to be able to summon at least Borland and Baron to Floor if it doesn't get stopped at that point. Because afterwards, you're just building, 2 to 3 more negates with maybe a hand trap in hand. That's just one way to build this deck, and I honestly think that this is the better way of these 2 lists I'm going to showcase, because we're not revealing Zohair's list quite yet, because he wanted to keep it a secret for now. But I like the way Zohair builds it, and then I also like the way this deck is built too. I think this is the more consistent way, because you don't want to necessarily use all of your extra deck spaces turn 1, and that's kind of what Dragon Link almost used to do. You use about 8 to 9 extra deck slots in your first opening turn to combo off, but now you're really just trying to only summon maybe, again, your big synchros, so 4 of those, and then Borland, Fibrax, Triple Burst, and maybe maybe Pisty. You don't even need Striker Dragon half the time. It is just insurance there. Of course, it's always a good combo piece, but you don't actually need to summon this turn 1. And then, honestly, the Dark and the Nightmare Unicorn and Access Code are actually flex spots. I think Access Code is the best choice here, even though that Boral Sword is a dragon, simply because Access Code punches for 53 almost every single time you can summon it, and it's just basically a godly card versus every single deck, whereas, if your opponent has cards in defense position, which will happen, it does matter where Boral Sword cannot attack over those, or even cards that can't be destroyed battle. There aren't a whole lot, but just in case it does happen. Again, I really like the way this deck is built. I don't necessarily agree with every single choice, but I think this is a good direction for the deck, especially because the Punk engine is just so strong. So that's the first of the 2 lists. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the UK Nats. This guy got top 64 here, and we're going to take a look at his list and kind of see. This is from JY Sheriff. Credit to him, of course, for the deck profile, and I want to go over this because this is a fundamentally different build of the deck than this New Zealand list. So the way that this deck is actually played is a little bit different. He is playing Levianeer, and I think that card's fine. The Black Metal Dragon, so this is the Red Eyes package. He's also playing Darkness Metal, the extra deck monster, so the Link 4, which acts as an extender, kind of like Borland. He's also playing Dragon Buster, Destruction Sword, and DMZ Dragon. So he was saying that any 2 dragons plus a way to get to Tracer can be the combo, and generally speaking, that's true. Usually it's your baby Chaos Dragons plus Tracer plus like Black Metal. That does get you to at least Darkness Metal and Borreload Savage Dragon, so it does force him to play at least 2 back row removals in order to get rid of the Scythe Lock, the permanent Scythe Lock, as well as if you have your adventure stuff, that's possible too. But this list, also, he didn't opt to play Nibiru in the main, he instead played Impermanence. I don't actually agree with that. The reason being is Nibiru is going to do a lot versus I'd say the top 70 to 80% of decks. The only thing it doesn't do anything in is Fluandereeze, but that is, of course, not the only deck. It is a consideration, though, but he mentioned specifically he was scared of Fluandereeze, so he built the deck well for the event, and I think that's a fair case. But generally speaking, depending on, say, with the NAWCQ, we may see it being built this way. I don't think Fluandereeze is going to be very popular, though, compared to Therion Punk or Punk Therion, Sword Soul, or Branded Despia, or just other adventure decks like Dragon Link Adventure. And of course, you said the side deck, back row removal, you guys can see that, 7 copies of back row removal, 3 Cosmic, 3 Twin, 1 Reboot. Again, for Fluandereeze and other backer decks, because sometimes it is hard to grind through that, especially Fluandereeze if they're able to get to Wind Barrier statue. That's going to be huge. Dark Ruler and Amor, you can also side that in versus them too. Change of Heart, he just likes that card. And then the 1 Token Collector. I only think you need 1 Token Collector in Dragon Link overall. Again, you can summon it off of, or send it off of Rise, or summon it in the opponent's turn. And you don't really need it to resolve just to win, because say versus Sword Soul, you have Token Collector and Dark Ruler, and honestly, that's pretty much all you need besides just your hand traps. I'm not sure about his exact siding patterns. I'm sure there are certain ways he was siding versus decks like Sword Soul compared to decks like Punk Therion. And then, of course, there's the Droll Knockbird, because combo mirrors are really hard to play, especially if you're not seeing hand traps. Again, 50 cards. More cards than I would play personally, but I don't think this is a bad list. I just don't think I would play DMZ Dragon and Dragon Buster because it does require a lot of investment. Again, if you're not being hand trapped, then that's the case to play it, but chances, more likely than not, you're going to be hand trapped at least once or twice per turn, and I would expect that moving forward. I will eventually make another video kind of showing off our version of Dragon Link and the way I think it's going to be built and played for NAWCQ. I personally will not be playing. I'm actually on the judge team for Nationals, so you guys will see me judging there. Come say hi if you guys want to. So, I'll see you guys there. We will post another combo video showing off the way that this version plays, so the DMZ Dragon kind of Punk version, and then our own version. I will say the interesting thing that we do differently is we play Illusion of Chaos and Magician's Souls. I absolutely love those cards, and I think they're really, really fantastic ways to play the deck, and fantastic extenders in the deck, because even with Tracer, you can still play. Let me know what you guys think about these two lists. I actually really like the way these decks play now. Adventure does add a lot to Dragon Link. Previously, I didn't care for Dragon Link too much. I've had it for the past 2 years or so. I just didn't like the way it played compared to now, but with Red Rose stuff, you do play a lot of bricks in the deck, and that's why you have to play up to 50 cards. But I think it's justified here, and a lot of the bricks are also dragons, so at worst, you can just normal summon them and combo from there. Let me know what you guys think about Adventure Dragon Link, if you think it's a good choice, both the Punk version and this DMZ Dragon, Buster Dragon Lock version, if it'd be good for the NAWCQ. Let me know in the comment section below. Eric with OzoneTCG. Thank you for watching, as always.